Welcome to Fire Breathing Kittens, an actual play podcast. Every episode microplot is a complete adventure with a beginning and an end that fits into the overarching macroplot of the whole season. Because they stand sturdily on their own, you can listen to these adventures in any order and skip the ones you don't enjoy. Today, we're playing with the combat mechanics from the game called Lucas. It's our first time playing, so we might make some mistakes. And today, we are joined by Armando.
Yes, hello. My name is Armando Contenza Vilano de Medici. I am a human being, a sword fighter. I am about like 6'2", but only with like 165 pounds. I'm very lean, but that is the perfect stature for a sword fighter. Let's see. The way I look, I have like a shoulder length brown hair, very dark brown, like almost black. My eyes are amber color, and my mustache, of course, is the same color of my hair, but it is very, very large and imposing. Like I want to intimidate everybody to let them know that I am a serious sword fighter. Yeah, and I am dressed in my usual set of clothes. It's like loose pants, loose shirt with a vest and boots, because I like to move around when I'm sword fighting, and I like to have the freedom, but I don't like to show off my body too much.
And Demyan.
Hello, the name is Demyan Belov. I am a short stack, like 160-something centimeter, human engineer. I have a clean, bowl-shaped head, and I'm wearing my combat boots, my pants with a lot of pockets for everything I might need in my engineering duty. I'm also wearing my white and blue horizontally striped sailor vest and my sturdy hockey jacket.
All right, so you all are in the Fire Breathing Kittens Guild Hall. What brings you in today?
I think I will say I'm a kind of a loner, and what I'm trying to do is get to know people a little bit better, let my guard down, because I am constantly on the defensive. Like everything is a possible attack, even people that could be my allies. And so I joined this guild to, see if I could earn trust and grow trust in other people, because my experience up to this point has been very shaky with trusting people. So I am trying to build up the courage to have a conversation with somebody in the guild hall.
Okay. Demyan, what are you doing today in the guild hall?
Demyan is sitting outside of the guild hall, like in the backyard where nobody is around, so he doesn't interfere in anyone's business. And he is doing something with a newly acquired bag, a gift from some Professor Spark.
Okay. What was the bag again? I'm sorry.
A gift from Professor Spark.
No, but what was it?
From... It's a little bit of a magical item, a bag which is way bigger from the inside, like it's a whole room down there if you open it and look inside. And right now he is attaching a chain belt and an electrical motor to rotate the said chain belt inside. So it's basically what you call an inventory with a quick access.
Okay. So Armando, you are actually inside the guild hall, right?
That is correct. I am located right next to the job board, so like I can see if there are any flyers or whatever, because that is a good a start a conversation. Like I can say, hey, fellow guildmate, do you see this flyer? Would you like to maybe go on an adventure with me?
Okay. Well, there actually is a flyer on the board. It is very ornately written out, and it says, the keepers of the the interdimensional doorway system seek help from the fire-breathing kittens to clean up a mess you all made.
I would like to say I am insulted, because I know like we are corporately responsible for the actions of others in the guild, but I don't think I caused this kind of mess. However, because I am trying to be a team player, I will try to clean it up. And so I will grab the job flyer off the board. And as I look around, I think people are seeing me with this corner of their eyes. They see I'm picking up the job flyer, and they all kind of like look down at their meal or their drink, maybe they are not too excited. And I get the picture. I'm picking up the body language and everything. So I take the flyer and I start like going outside and seeing if I can find anybody else.
Well, there just happens to be a short guy in a trench coat playing with a magical bag sitting out back.
So I say, hey, excuse me, are you a fire-breathing kitten like me?
Well, yes, I am.
Oh, excellent. I have a flyer here for a job. Would you care to do this? It sounds very tricky. I don't know much about like interdimensional whatever, but I would like to go on an adventure. And if you know something about this, maybe you could come with me?
Let me see it first, would you?
Yes, of course. And I hand the paper over to this person whose name I do not know. I'm sorry. I introduce myself as I pass over the paper because I'm forgetting my manners. I say, hello, my name is Armando Contenda Villano de Medici, and here is the job flyer.
Well, thank you. My name is Demyan below, and I fix things around here. Demyan just picks the flyer, looks at it. Looks like somebody needs their stuff fixed. Okay.
So at the bottom of the flyer, you guys have agreed to do the job, right?
Of course, I have. I'm totally in.
So at the bottom of the flyer is a very ornately written KIDS stylized in a square. And it says above it, for more information, press the sigil.
Press the sigil. Demyan looks at it like he doesn't understand what it's like, but he presses something he thinks appears to be some kind of sigil.
So you press the stylized letters?
Yes.
There is a bright flash of light, and the two of you are teleported to a place that oddly isn't. Have you seen in movies where there's just infinite white space, but like you can walk forward and backwards, but there's really no substance to it? You know what I mean?
I see.
You're standing there for a second in this infinite space, and then suddenly doors start appearing down long hallways, just infinite numbers of doors going off in every direction, of every kind you can imagine. There's, stone doors, wooden doors, metal doors, sliding doors, doors you don't even, by context, they're doors, but looking at them, you'd have no idea how you would open that door. And it's just whooshing all past you, then suddenly it stops. You hear a ding, and the doors slide open, and inside of it is a big glass dome room, and sitting in the center of it is a cat person. What's the word? A bipedal tiger person is sitting in the center of this room. She goes, fire-breathing kittens, it's great to see you. Please come in.
Nice to see you too, my feline friend.
You can call me Antonia.
So, you needed help with something, right?
Yes. Have either of you done any interdimensional travel in this season?
Inter what?
Gone to parallel dimensions? Because I know there's been a couple where people have gone to other dimensions or interacted with other dimensions, but I don't know if either of your characters have been a part of any of those episodes.
So kind of like in my first episode, my first adventure this season, I die and I go to what I presume is like an afterlife. I don't know if that is technically a alternate dimension or if it is part of our reality, but it's just accessible only through a specific, through dying or something like that. So maybe I'm comme ci, comme ça about it.
For the purpose of this, I'm not going to count that as interdimensional travel.
Fair enough. Yes, that's fine.
But, so you guys, she immediately, Demyan, looks at your bag and goes, a pocket dimension. How quaint. Well, as I said, my name is Antonia. I am one of the keepers of the interdimensional doorway system that you all just came through. Each one of those doors represents a different dimension that There's a whole different reality that is only accessible by use of this doorway system. And most interdimensional travel, people don't understand that they're going through this. It's instantaneous from one side to the other. But the problem with that is that each time you do that, the door gets cracked open a little more and a little more and a little more. And it is our job as keepers to go around and close the doors, so to speak. Seal those cracks that were created. Your guild recently has been traveling a lot through the dimensional doorway system. Not intentionally every time, but different realities have bled a little bit, and this allowed someone from your dimension to sneak in here and steal what I use to seal these doors. Let's just call it my bag of tricks. And they've brought it to your dimension. I need you all to retrieve my bag of tricks and bring it back to me.
So I have a couple of questions. First of all, you say your name is Antonia. My name is Armando. It's a pleasure to meet you. So why you pick us, like to do this job? I know we are apparently interdimensionally famous and we are very capable, but like you seem very powerful. Like you can go anywhere. Why do you pick us?
I can't leave my dimension. I can travel through the doorway system, but not through the doors. I have agents in other realities. In fact, the reason I'm contacting you is my agent in your reality has become uncontactable. I don't know where he is. Last I heard, he was in the city of Nicomoy, but it's been radio silent since then.
Can you please describe to me what a radio is?
Oh, that's right. They don't have those in your dimension. He hasn't said. I haven't been able to reach him in quite some time.
Oh, why you just not say that? That's very simple. Okay, I think we can do that. Demyan, you have any questions for this lady?
Not really.
Well, I would recommend starting out by looking for our point of contact. His name is Horatio Magellan. He is a human, I believe they call them in your dimension. He was a captain of a ship. He's a grain trader. Last I heard, he was on the docks. And the only thing we know about the thief is she's a rabbit person, a white rabbit person. I believe she's had dealings with your guild in the past.
So,
Is there any other way to fix your cracks without your little bag of tricks? I don't know, maybe duct tape, maybe a lot of duct tape.
There are temporary solutions that will hold for a small amount of time, but it's eventually the problem will become overwhelming and all of the doors to all of the dimensions will be thrown open and it will be absolute chaos.
Demyan pulls out a roll of blue duct tape and just puts it on the table before her. Here, use this. A gift.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
so to Demyan's point, I'm not an expert or whatever on supply chain economics, but it seemed very foolish to have only one source to fix this very important task. You know what I mean? So, is there a way you can develop like more of this stuff or another bag, or would it take time, or is it just this is an irreplaceable artifact that can only be used for this thing?
I don't possess the magic to replace it. I possess the magic to use it. Someone else created this eons ago, and it's been passed down from keepers to keepers since the dawn of time. This is a cornerstone of creation that has been stolen.
I don't know, maybe you could pull out a requisition form and request it. I don't know.
Tell you what, you talk to the beings or force or whatever it is that created the universe, and tell me which paperwork to fill out, and I'll get right on that. In the meantime, let's take a more direct approach and get back the thing that was stolen.
I'm going to lean to Demyan right now, and I'm going to whisper. I think she's being sarcastic with us right now. And I don't know if you are as easily insulted like I am, but this makes me a little bit put off by this job. You know what I mean?
I'm not insulted, I'm just... It's always like that, no matter where you go.
Okay, I appreciate your steady disposition, and I will try to regulate myself so we can accomplish the task at hand. And then I turn back to Antonia, where I'm done whispering. I say, Antonia, we can take the job. It sounds like it's something we can help with very directly. Is there any kind of reward or whatever? Because we are very skilled, and usually it comes with a price. Not that I'm selfish or anything, but it's just a matter of how our guild operates.
I can either offer you gold if that's what would excite you, or I can offer you a weekend pass to be used at any time to travel to any dimension you want and back to your own.
I say, excuse me for one moment, and I turn back to whispering to Demyan again, and I say, I don't care about gold too much. I don't know what's in other dimensions or whatever. So, do you want to pick what we are doing? The reward, I mean?
I also don't care about gold. I got this gold paperweight in my last journey, so gold is not an issue anymore to me.
Okay, well, let's pick the weekend pass. Is that okay?
I suppose.
Perfect. If anything, we can give it to somebody else that is more excited about travel or whatever. And so I turn to Antonia and say, we'll take the passes, and you got yourself some employees now, some independent contractors, and we will take care of it. Yeah, all right. So you say it's in our world?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking quite a lot. You say the bag of tricks is in our Nikamoi?
That is the last place Horatio said he tracked it to. That's the last I heard. But it is in your reality. It was someone from your reality that stole it.
Okay. Well, can you... I was not paying attention when the doors were sliding. Can you show us to the door back to our reality?
Of course. Follow me. And she sweeps out of the room, and you start walking down a long hallway past a lot of doors. One of them's a glass door, and behind it, just the whole world looks normal except everything is made of fire. She's like, we don't go in that one, and she keeps walking.
I can see why. That looks like a terrible world.
And then another little bit down the hall, she gets to just... It looks exactly like the front door of the guild hall.
Well, how about that? That is exactly like the door in front of the guild hall. Who chooses the door, just out of curiosity, to the different dimensions? And is it always like the door to the guild hall, or what's going on?
Oh no, it's just your perception of a door you are familiar with.
That makes sense.
To me, it just looks like a regular door. To you, it looks like the door to your guild hall.
Constants and variables. Constants and variables.
Exactly. He understands. The odd thing about this place is it wants you to go back to your own dimension. So it shows you a door it knows you're likely to go through.
That makes sense. Okay, well, when we are finished, how do we find you to return this bag of tricks?
Keep the job flyer poster and just push the KIDS symbol again.
That sounds pretty easy. You ready to go, Demyan?
Okay, let's go.
Excellent. Okay, well, we see you later. And then I open the door to the guild hall / dimension, and we traverse through the portal, and then we are back, I assume, back in the guild hall. Is that correct?
Yes, you were standing exactly where you were when you were teleported to the interdimensional doorway system. So in the backyard of the guild hall.
I turn to Demyan and say, that was pretty crazy. Did you see that fire dimension? That is one I do not want to go to with the weekend pass, let me tell you. That is very bad.
No, there are a lot of doors I don't want to enter.
Okay, well, let's see if we can find out about this Horatio Magellan guy. I'm sure if he is the captain of a ship, we can go down to the docks everybody knows everybody there, so we just ask around, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think we can find him pretty easily.
Okay. So are you guys just traveling down to the docks and you're going to ask around, or do you have a specific
Ooh.
how are you going about it?
I think before we leave the guild hall, I'm going to get a couple of to-go containers of ale, because captains of ships, they like ale very much, and I like to grease the wheels conversationally. So I'll get like 5 to-go containers, and I carry them, and then we go to the docks, and just whatever the first ship is, I talk to the first shipman.
My friend, let me carry them for you. And Demyan opens his bag
Sure.
and attaches the containers to the chain belt, rotates, attaches another container, rotates, and so all 5 containers are fit in his pocket dimension.
That's a lot better for me, because to be honest, I was a little bit overwhelmed. Like if I need to pull my sword in case there is an emergency, I'm going to drop everything. So this is much better. Thank you.
And that's a big party foul.
And I suppose we go
Yeah, you know.
not to ask like captains of other ships, but to the port administrations itself.
That's a great idea. Let's do that.
Okay. For the listeners at home, we are using a tool online so we can share a deck of cards, because Lucas is actually a card-based system. Lucas actually stands for Lewis's Unified Card-Based Adventure System. And the system we are using to share a deck of cards is deck.of.cards. So each of you, as you're seeing on your screen, go ahead and draw 8 cards for this encounter. Now, I know you guys are drawing them in your hand so they don't show. If you want them to stay on the table, since you guys are playing as a team, and it doesn't really matter if I see your cards or not, you can play them out. It is up to you. All right, so while you're drawing your cards, I will just paint the scene for you. You guys go down to the docks of Nicomoy. You know, it's a stinky dock. And you said you're going to the Port Authority, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you make your way down. It's in a big stone building right down by the docks. It's a pretty crowded place since Nicomoy is a port city. There's a lot of business going on at the Port Authority, people coming in, going out. How do you want to proceed? You know, you're standing outside. There's the double doors, and inside, well, you haven't gone inside yet. So what would you like to do?
I suppose we should find somebody who knows, who has the access to the port archives, I mean the port paperwork, and they might know which ship that captain we are looking for is located on.
I like that idea.
So I guess we should ask from some low-level clerks and work our way up the chain of command.
Okay. As you guys go inside, think of a bank, kind of. There's a row of tellers sitting behind desks, and there's rows of people. Actually, think more like a DMV sort of thing. There's lines of people in front of different clerks. Each of them is holding a card. When you walk in, you can take a number and wait for the appropriate clerk.
So how far away is our number from the number that has just been called? Is it like going to be a long time, or is it pretty soon?
Not a super long time. Let's say like maybe 15 minutes wait time if you want to wait for a clerk.
Okay.
Enough to be an inconvenience, but not enough to be your whole day.
That sounds pretty reasonable. Like in the meantime, I'm going to scope out the entire place to see if anybody is suspicious, or like is up to no good, or like trying to sneak anything.
Okay. We're gonna call that our first, not roll of the evening, our first pull of the evening. Let's say it is going to be I don't want to call it a DC, but a challenge rating of 10. And we're going to say that's going to make a knowledge skill check, which means spades and diamonds are going to be used to play. And you are going to draw from your 8 cards to make your best blackjack hand.
Okay. So what you say, it was a spades and diamonds, correct?
Spades and diamonds, correct.
Okay.
So to make a knowledge check, and those are the 2 suits that you use to play with that one.
All right. I put that one on there. I do not have very much. Oh, this is a bad draw. Ay, ay, ay,
As
ay,
long
ay,
as you
ay.
have 10, it's just a DC 10. You only have to play one card. Demyan, are
Oh,
you doing the
oh.
same thing?
Ah, no, I'm just waiting for the port authorities for our turn to talk.
All right, so you do have a 10. And with that, you overhear someone complaining to one of the clerks that I'm telling you, Magellan, the grain he sold me, it cut the roof of my mouth. The man's a huckster.
So,
Someone behind
so
him, you hear him go that. You gotta let it soak a little bit. You can't just eat the grain.
I am very familiar with this type of ethereal. So Captain Magellan, it cut the roof of my mouth, but I don't eat that anymore. So number one, I am reminded of a very bad breakfast experience. But number two, I hear the voice or the name of the person we are looking for, and so I turn and I say, "Excuse me, I know." First of all, is he somebody else in line, or is it like a teller, like a
It was
like a
someone in line complaining to a clerk.
Okay, so I say, this is unorthodox, Demian, but follow me. And I go to the person talking to the clerk and say, excuse me, we are with the Fire Breathing Kittens on official business. Can you please tell me about this Horatio Magellan person? Because I think we can help you.
Well, I'm trying to get my money back. I bought some grain from him, and it's not. I don't like the grain. He seems to have disappeared, so I'm here to take out a lien against his ship. His first mate won't talk to me.
Is his ship in the harbor right now?
Yes.
What is it called, and can you point it out for me? Or either of you, the clerk or the person in line?
Who did you say you were again?
Oh, forgive me for not introducing myself. My name is Armando Contenda Villano de Medici with the Fire Breathing Kittens. This is my esteemed associate Demian. We are here to help.
With the fire-breathing kittens, you say? What sort of business do you have with Magellan?
I don't know if I'm at liberty to say, but he is involved in and I squirm a little bit. My mustache is twitching because I'm not sure how to describe what I saw. I say, he is the person who probably knows best about some tools that are missing. I'll say that. And he's going to help us find the tools. And that's probably why he's giving you some cheaper grain, because he probably is not equipped to give you the fine grain because he is distracted by these tools that are messing up with his mind. So please don't be too hard on him. So if you help us find him, we sort it all out.
His ship is the Guppy. It's out in the harbor, and he points to one of the ships a little way down the line.
Bless you, sir. I'm so glad you tell us what we need to know. And I reach in my pocket and I give him like a gold coin to show him I'm not some kind of like weirdo that just demands information for nothing. I say, hey, take this. You have helped an investigation and you deserve to be rewarded. Hard work and help deserve to be rewarded. So here you go, sir.
He looks a little confused because he is a well-dressed gentleman. He goes, well, if you ever need any whiskey, just reach out to old Apple Jack. And he shakes your hand and goes back to talking to the clerk about getting a lien put on Magellan's ship.
I turn to Demian and I say, do you like whiskey?
I don't really drink.
That's okay. There are plenty in the guild that do drink. And so maybe like when it is our turn to bring food or drinks or decorations at the party next time, we can talk to Mr. Applejack and get some drinks and everybody will be very happy.
You know, I've stopped drinking long time ago, even despite that I come from the 39 Serdam, which is quite rare to be seen. You know, people get either silent or rowdy when they drink. Well, I do both.
Yes, that is quite a feat to be both rowdy and silent at the same time. I don't like it because it slows down my reflexes, and I like to be as keen as I can as a sword fighter. Anyway, they probably don't need to hear our conversation as we are standing in front of the clerk. So, what I will do is I will start escorting my friend out, and we are still talking about, the pros and cons of alcohol consumption, and how it is a social lubricant, but at the same time, personally, it can be abused to very ill effect. Anyway, we are trying to head toward the Guppy.
Okay. You get there with no problem. It's It's a two-masted ship, a galleon. It seems that the crew is on board. At the helm, I guess not the helm. What's the bow of the ship, sort of looking at the city, is a what's the non-D&D name for an Aarakocra? A bird person, I guess.
Yeah.
An avian fellow, with a long, colorful beak, black plumage, just standing out looking over the city.
Demyan used to serve on a civilian navy airship back in 39 Amsterdam, so he looks at the ship from a kind of professional engineering perspective and quickly points out if it's doing okay or it has some mechanical troubles.
It is a very well put together ship. This ship is very well cared for, very loved. You can't see anything structurally or mechanically wrong with the ship.
Well, at least that one doesn't go down as easily as my last ship did.
Remind me not to be on your chip. I'm just getting like an implication that your chip was not very, well, it was very cheap. Your chip was cheaply made, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, don't you dare call such to my ship. I used to do all in my power to keep her going despite our captain's best efforts.
No offense to you personally. I trust you. I mean, you are part of the guild, so I automatically feel like I owe you a sense of respect and cooperation. So please forgive me. I'm not trying to start a fight. At least not right now. We'll start a fight later with the bad people. But anyway.
I used to tell my captain that the engine is in no good condition. You should replace the oil at least half a year, once per half a year. That you should swap the ignition. That you should do this, you should do that. That you should buy the spare parts. Do you know how hard it is to keep an engine running with nothing but duct tape?
Frankly, no. I'm not very mechanically inclined, but I trust you. I know how difficult it is to get to maintain complicated pieces of equipment, and I assume like an airship or a chip is even more complicated than that. So I have a rough idea.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, this ship is powered by the wind. There is no engine. Just a classic sailing ship.
That made me feel better.
So let's probably work our way on board.
Okay, I assume that bird with the big beak is probably in charge because they are standing like in a position of authority. So let's go talk to the bird and see what we can do.
So are you going to walk up the gangplank, or are you going to call from the shore? Or a third way that I'm not suggesting?
Well, I suppose we walk up to the gangplank, not going all the way on the ship, but standing at the end of it.
Yeah, I'm not really confident. Like, I don't know nothing about sailing protocol. I'm not a water person. So I have no problem just going on the gangplank and just saying, excuse me, I'm looking for the captain, like this.
Okay. When you say that, the crew kind of perks up and looks at you and blocks the gangplank, and the bird person comes over and he goes, "What's your business here on the ship?"
Hello, my name is Armando Contenda de Medici. This is my friend Demyan. We are with the Fire Breathing Kitten Guild, and we have been tasked with rescuing potentially, or at least finding, a man by the name of Horatio Mayelen. And they say this is his ship. And so maybe you know this guy. What happened to him? And we're trying to find him. He's not in trouble or nothing. Just trying to improve our universe. You know what I'm saying?
You see a kind of a glint in his eye, and he looks at you and goes, "Did Antonia send you?"
So you know that tiger person?
Yes, I'm familiar with Antonia. Pleased to meet you. My name is Samuel Ramphasitidae. You can just call me Sam.
So, do you know where we can find Capitan Magellan?
He went to meet with a couple of shady characters about a grain deal that apparently had gone bad. That was yesterday, and he hasn't come back. I was about to send some men out to go to the meeting place to find him.
Well, you found your man. Tell us where was that meeting place, and we'll see what we can find.
Uh, it's one of the warehouses down a few streets back up. He gives you an address further into Nicomoy. He went to go meet with three brothers that apparently you don't want to mess with.
We'll see. Maybe we'll mess with them.
Thank you. Will you prefer? I know we just met like on this ship, but would you like us to be escorting the people you are going to send, or are you to trust us to go like already with ourselves, or what do you prefer?
We were going to give it to sundown. If you're back by sundown, excellent. If not, we'll send people after you.
I think we could tackle this in a day. That's no problem.
Well, excellent.
Yeah. What time of day is it right now?
Let's say it's mid-morning, like 10:30.
Okay, that's reasonable. I take challenges like this for breakfast, you know?
Excellent.
You have a strange diet, my friend.
Hey, you feast on challenges, you grow big and strong, you know?
Makes sense.
Well, maybe not big, but maybe not as strong either, but like, you know, worn down by life and experience, but the experience teaches you to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, what doesn't kill you today will kill you later.
That's right, yes. I totally agree.
Sam is just looking at you guys, just utterly baffled.
This is what you call banter. You gotta have healthy banter with your crew. Consider if, like, at the end, when we are done with this very simple task, I must say, like we can be contracted to help your crew to be a little bit more free with the banter. It builds community.
Well, I'd introduce you to more of my crew, but I don't want to write about any more NPCs.
No, I totally understand. No, I have been in your truth. Believe me. So, I give a quick nod to Demyan. I say, you ready to go to the warehouse?
Yeah, the faster we do it, the better.
Agreed. So we go.
Let's find that Capitan Magellan dude.
So you approach a warehouse on this street. It's a pretty deserted street. This is just a warehouse in the middle of nowhere. Well, I guess not the middle of nowhere, but have you ever been to the docks of a city and seen a warehouse? There's not a lot going on at a lot of them most of the time. So it doesn't seem like anyone's out front. The doors are all closed. What do you want to do?
Let's pick the lock.
Okay, that is going to be a draw. I'm going to say that's a knowledge check. So that's going to be spades and diamonds. And oops, we need to reshuffle because that scene was over. So draw yourself 8 more cards.
So, spades and diamonds. What's the challenge rating?
I'm going to say for this one, it's 20. They have a really nice lock on here.
How much is this one worth?
10. All face cards are worth 10.
Here you go, 20.
And that's hearts and diamonds. So you pick the lock, and it's a really difficult lock. You can tell they've invested very well, and suddenly it just, snap and pop, it opens.
Open up, sesame.
All right, the door slowly creaks open, and inside is a man tied to a chair. He has long white mustaches dangling down. He's wearing a blue sailor's uniform. He's been beaten up a little bit. And he sits apparently alone in this room, tied to the chair. That's what you see from where you're standing.
Capitan Magellan, I presume.
Do you just shout that into the room?
Not shout, but say as I walk up to him.
Okay, so you're entering.
Yes.
Okay. You have started combat then. All right, so everybody draw your 8 cards for this combat. Well, both of you, and I will draw my cards for each of my guys. Okay, so, as you guys enter the room, you see 3 elves, dressed in, each of them's wearing, they're clearly brothers, and, one of them is dressed in yellow, one of them is dressed in blue, and one of them is dressed in red. And they step out of the the shadows just swinging clubs, just ready to attack you guys. How familiar are you guys with the Nicomoy Underground?
My character is pretty familiar. Like I have been as a mercenary. I have been hired by some people that are not as well-to-do, but I always justify it to myself because I'm taking out somebody else that is bad. Like there's a lot of turf war, and so I'm familiar a little bit.
Okay. So, what you see when you walk in, you actually recognize these guys. It's Click, Russell, and Boom. And they are enforcers in the underground. I guess before they actually fight, one of them will say, Boom steps forward and goes, "Hey, what are you doing in our warehouse?"
I will say to them, I'm sorry I did not see your name on the warehouse. Maybe you should label it a little bit better. And then I know not to come in. Or at least have like no Armando's coming in. And then I squint a little bit because I think I recognize him, but I don't remember his name. I'm like, hey, are you with the Crispy Gang? Or what? You look familiar.
Yeah, I'm with the Crispy Gang. Well, we don't like to use labels. We're associated, but you know we're not on brand exactly with them.
I can understand what you're trying to say. Hey, my name is Armando. This is Demyan. We're just touring facilities, looking for a friend of ours. I think you may have our friend, but before we get into how you say mopping the floor with you, you want to. Maybe we can talk a little bit about maybe why you have our friend on this chair over here.
So, are you trying to intimidate them?
No, I'm speaking a matter of fact. I'm not trying to intimidate. It's like in my mind, my attitude is such that I know I'm going to win with these men. And so,
let me ask you, are you hoping that by threatening to wipe the floor with them in such a matter-of-fact way that they will not try to fight you? Is that your character? Is that what your character is attempting to do?
In a way, I was hoping that when I was introducing myself as Armando Contenda Villano de Medici, which I have had to do many times in this episode, they know the name. It's like, oh, that is the mercenary SR fighter. We don't want to mess with that guy. And so, and as an addition, I say, yeah, I don't want to mop the floor with you because I am a very busy man. So, just let's talk it out.
Yes, just let's not get bloodthirsty.
I'm going to make that a... Would you prefer a physical or a knowledge check to intimidate them out of a fight?
Armando always prefers a physical check if that is going to be the way it's going to be.
Well, for interpreting the rules, you're trying to intimidate them. Well, actually, it's probably a bluff a little bit. So it's going to be a physical. So hearts and spades, challenge rating 20 to avoid a fight right here and now.
Hearts and spades. I don't really have a lot of... So let me just say, whoever shuffled this deck did a terrible job. Okay, so I'm gonna start putting cards down. Hearts and spades. Ay. Okay, so
now you could decide that you have some sort of specialization in it and get granted a wild card, but you would have to discard 2 cards in order to do that.
As a matter of fact, I have my wild card on the table right now, face down, next to my cards.
Okay.
You see that?
Yes.
So that is the card, and I'm going to turn it over. And it can be any suit, right? Like I can use it?
Yes. With the wild card, suit does not matter.
Okay, so just for the listener, I got 3 cards on the table. I got an 8, a 3, and a 2. So I'm not looking too good. It's a 13. Oh my goodness. My wild card was an 8, which means it's like an 11 or a 1 because it's like blackjack. And so I get a 24. 24.
But with 24. A wild card, a 24 is still a win.
It's not a bust.
It's not a bust using a wild card. So that's still that bumps you up to they actually... Does Armando actually have a reputation of being a fierce fighter that they might know?
Oh, absolutely. Like I tell you, I'm a mercenary. So for years I was battling around Nicomoy, around the G-Shop, Gardilu, around.
As Boom is getting really big and bad, his brother Russell comes over and grabs him and whispers something in his ear, and he goes, it was that guy? He's the you know what? Actually, we've changed our mind. We don't want any trouble. You can take him. Just tell him to, give us our money back for selling us grain that cuts the roof of our mouth.
That happened
And
to
you
you
hear
too?
him go, you gotta soak it in milk first. You can't eat it dry.
That is a lesson you have to learn with experience, I think. It's just a matter of fact. And so I say, thank you, gentlemen. It was a pleasure meeting you. I did not get your names, but did they say their names or you?
They did.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. You say Boom and Russell and Click.
Click. Yep. Click, Russell, and Boom.
Okay. I say, gentlemen, thank you very much. We will take this man off your hands. I know he is in a lot of trouble with a lot of people for his grain, and we will make sure that we get it sorted out. Okay, you have my word as a gentleman.
Well, all right. We'll take your word, and we know who you are, so we'll trust you.
And so,
And you can untie Magellan and take him out of here.
Okay, I look to Demyan. I say, these guys, I'm still a little bit wary. So how about you? You are very good with your hands. Why don't you untie this guy and escort him out, and I'll kind of watch your back.
Okay. Let the weak engineer go first into the den of filthy bandits. Yes, okay. And Demyan just walks to the captain, looking at the bandits inside.
They're eyeing you as you walk out, but they are not stepping forward to challenge you to try to stop you from leaving. So you guys make it out of the warehouse, and the second you're outside, Magellan's like, it's preposterous. My grain does not cut the roof of anyone's mouth. Everyone knows you gotta soak grain first. You don't eat it dry. Who eats their grain dry? What kind of barbarians?
You use grain to make booze. That's the only good use of grain.
Well, I suppose if that's what you want to do with it, that's your business. That certainly soaks it long enough.
I started backing up out of the warehouse and following the sound of this complaining captain. I say, thank you, gentlemen. Well, maybe our paths will cross again.
They kind of wave at you friendly. They have no problems with you guys. You're cool.
Okay, so go ahead, Demyan.
I was going to say, so you guys are outside the warehouse now. You have freed Magellan, and he's sort of dusting himself off. He goes, well, thank you for the assist. I have business to be about. Enjoy a little box of my grain. And he hands you a little yellow box with his picture on it. And it's Horatio Magellan's crunchy grain.
Wait a minute, Capitan. We have some questions to ask.
Certainly, for the people who saved me, anything. What can I do you for?
Armando, I think you're better with talking to people.
Yes, I'm sorry, I was distracted by the branding on his box. It is spectacular. Like, I know you have previous iterations of this box, but this is perfect. But anyway, I don't want to get distracted too much. Captain, we have been sent on a mission from Antonia. I believe you are an agent of hers. So
when you say Antonia, you see he kind of perks up and is listening much more intently than he was before.
Yes, and I observe like his body language totally changed, and so I can tell he's on point. I say, okay, I'm glad you're locked in. Apparently, the tools to repair the doors are missing, and she say that you are one of the people that know where the tools are. Like there is a perpetrator somewhere, and you know where this person is. Do you have any information that we could use to like find this person or people?
Yes, I was hot on her trail. Actually, she came through Nicomoy to meet with some sort of professor of some sort to offer her protection. And just as I got to the city, they went to this professor's island out in the middle of the ocean, and I was gonna head out there before I got abducted by the crackleheads you saw over there.
Okay, would you mind if we could go with you on your ship toward this island?
Oh, certainly. I mean, I don't have to do it, and I'm a big fan of not dying, so of course.
I mean, it's not like, I mean, it could be dangerous anyway. I would not like discount the danger that you are possibly in, but I will say, Demyan is a very capable man. I'm also very capable. So I doubt you're going to die. Injured maybe, but definitely not die.
Well, I was gonna say perhaps you all could go and I could wait on my ship and you bring it back and tell Antony I helped you and everyone's happy.
You did give me a nice box of grain. And I think about it for a little bit. I say, okay,
Are you,
we'll see.
are you okay with this? It's so cowardly of him to just wait on the ship while we do the heavy lifting.
That's true, but I'm a man of honor, number one, and I seek adventure. So I have no problem. Like, cowardice, it bothered me quite a bit. But I'm learning that people are not, how you say, people are sometimes lazy and sometimes they are scared. And those are two things they need to conquer themselves. There's nothing I can do to help this man. He needs to help himself.
My skill set is not well equipped to fighting. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I do well on the seas. I'm a very good captain.
Ah, and that is where I am weak, is on the sea. So you get us to where we need to go, and then we take care of it. Or Demyan, you okay with this? Or would you like to drive the ship? Or I don't know what the best situation would be.
Oh, I'm okay.
Oh, you're not
well,
gonna
I'm
drive my
okay-
ship.
Well, I'm okay with both driving and doing stuff on Earth, on flat land. So, whatever happens, I'm okay. But, Capitan, nutty truth. That was obviously was in
Oh.
Russian. That was the word covered in Russian.
Okay. I was like, I don't know what he said.
I think I have a solution for his cowardice. Can you look in your bag for one of the to-go ale?
Ah, I see where you're coming. And Demyan just presses the button, you hear some rustling of chain inside and the electrical motor spinning the chain, and Demyan pulls out a bottle of that ale from his bag.
Excellent. Hey, Capitan, this is for you.
Excellent. It tastes ale, and he takes it and downs it in one. Delicious. Thank you.
It's no problem. I mean, have been through a pretty traumatic ordeal. I mean, to be tied to a chair by some gang members, that is not something that you want to face. And so this hopefully will help you loosen you up and give you some confidence that you can push yourself past what you think is your limit, you know?
Well, I certainly appreciate it. I will, it has been a hard day. It's not the first time I've been tied to a chair and beaten by someone. But, you know, it happens sometimes. Sometimes you ask for it, sometimes you don't. And, you know, life is life. Shall we continue on? And he starts walking towards his ship.
That sounds good to me. Demyan, you okay?
Yes, okay. Demyan follows him up to the gangplank, stands one step before it, then asks, "Permission on board?"
He's like, oh, permission granted. Just follow me on. We don't stand on all that ceremony.
Okay.
And you see Samuel kind of roll his eyes, and he's like, permission granted.
Okay.
I whispered to Demyan, I say, don't feel bad. I think you did the right thing. I was did not have the manners earlier, but I think that is the way you were supposed to do it. Because remember, they stopped me like earlier because I didn't do what you just did. So forget about that guy, okay? You did the right thing. It's a good habit. Manners are free. They cost nothing. You did the right thing.
Thank you, I guess. It was just an old habit of mine. I mean,
Well, it was a
serving
polite
on
habit. I'm wondering,
I mean,
if you have a habit that is something bad, I will smack you. But if you have a habit that is something good, I will encourage you. You know, I want you to be good.
please don't smack me with your pointy edge of your rapier.
I would not do. I would not. I would never do such a thing unless you were like possessed by a devil or something. Because that is, I think, the only solution to a possession is to be a skewer. But I don't know. We cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's not worry about it right now.
I think I'd rather not cross that bridge. But okay, let's just get on the ship already.
Okay, we get on the ship.
All right. Samuel shows you to a very for a ship comfortable set of rooms. It is a galleon, so it has a big storage cargo space, but it also you can tell Magellan likes to travel in style. That there's passenger rooms and all that. As you guys are setting up, Samuel and the captain are going over maps and charts, and they let you know that they're going to leave at the change of the tide, which is going to be early tomorrow morning. So you have, if you want to do anything in Nicomoy before you leave early tomorrow morning, now is the time. We'll say it's late afternoon now. It took a while to get to and from the docks or the warehouses.
I cannot think of anything I want to do right now. Actually, question.
Mm-hmm.
On the ship, in the room that we will be staying in or whatever, is the chair a spinny chair, like a spin around?
Sure. If that's how you want to picture it.
Excellent. I am a sucker for a spinny chair. I think that is so much fun. It is a simple pleasure of mine. And if I find out there is a spinny chair on the ship, I'm going to stay on the ship and spin.
Then yes, there's a spinny chair on the ship.
I'm spinning my heart out.
It is very well built and is spinning amazingly well.
I started laughing with just pure joy.
Awesome. Demyan, is there anything you want to do before the ship takes off?
Are there any cannons on this ship?
Yes. It is armed. We'll say there's 8 on each side.
Hey, Capitan! Capitan!
Yes?
How about a little gift for saving your bacon out there?
What do you mean? I already gave you some grain. It's not free, you know.
You gave it to my friend Armando, but I am more of a cannons guy, if you get what I mean.
You want one of my cannons?
I want one of your cannons.
Well, I mean, I guess I can spare one of them. You can take old Rusty, and he points to one of the older cannons in the back.
Okay, and if you give me some of your powder and cannonballs for it, I'll show you a trick you've never seen before.
Well, we probably shouldn't shoot off a cannon in the harbor of Nicomoy. I would like to come back here and do business.
I promise I'm not going to shoot it yet. I'm just going to show you some fancy trick.
Well, all right. I'm a fan of fancy tricks. And he brings you the cannonball and whatever else you need.
So, Demyan asks some of the sailors to help him pull the cannon inside his bag.
They help and slide it, and it goes in.
And Demyan attaches the cannon to the chain link so it can be rotated upwards quickly. So he just shows Captain how he quickly prepares the cannon to fire from his bag and quickly stores it away in the bag. You see? Portable cannon!
Well, that's certainly something. That could change the face of warfare, I suppose.
I mean, I have some sort of but it's more of a potato launcher than of a cannon, and now I have an actual cannon, and I'm a happy man.
Well, enjoy, I suppose. Just, if anybody asks, I didn't give it to you.
No questions asked.
And he goes about the business of, casting off. So it takes about a day to sail to, the Professor's Island. Are you guys... by the way, it is Professor Sparks' island. So, Demyan, you are familiar with the Professor, are you not?
Yes, I helped her with some kind of anti-death something field in my last episode. And I talked to her between the episodes, so that bag is a gift from her, actually.
Okay. So you guys, you all sail to the island, and as you get there, you realize, like, as you're sailing up, the island looks kind of strange. Like, parts of it look to be changing rapidly, like almost phasing in and out. And like bright flashes are kind of happening along the island as you're sailing up. And at the front of the ship, you see Magellan and Samuel in a hushed conversation, clearly talking about the island.
I think it's not supposed to look like this. Even though it's Professor Sparks' island, I still think it's not its normal state. Is it?
Well, no, they say like the more things change, the more things stay the same. This island is totally staying the same because it is changing like completely all the time. So I don't know. It's kind of weird.
That's the weirdest definition of stability that I've ever heard.
I'm not a philosopher, frankly, but yeah, that is I don't know. This is not something I make that brings me comfort. So when we get to this island, I'm going to be very prepared with my sword, and I think we should be sneaky. We should be as sneaky as possible because if they have these bag of tools or whatever it is, they could be appropriating it for a completely different function that is causing this island to go cuckoo.
Yes, the sound is completely cuckoo. So we'd better get it the bag quick.
I agree. I turn to the captain and I say, Mayelen, how close can we get to this island, like safely?
Well, that's what we were just discussing. It seems that there's some sort of interdimensional bleed through happening up there. I don't want to get the ship too terribly close, but I suppose we could send out a dinghy with just a couple of us and point you on your way. But we can't get the ship very close.
Screw
sound
it,
like-
give me your rowboat and set me on the right track.
Well, if his dinghy is big enough, and I don't know how big your dinghy is, but it could accommodate plenty of men.
Well, a gentleman never asks and a lady never tells.
Oh, please. This is, we can have this discussion later on if you like. But let's just get on the boat and not the ship, but the boat, and we row to the shore.
Well, certainly. And he points you to a decent-sized dinghy. It can fit 3 people. The waters are calm, so the motion of the ocean is very easy to get where you're going.
Who is the third person with us? It's Demyan, me, and who else?
Samuel is rowing for you guys because he's going to bring the boat, the dinghy back and then come pick you guys up when you're ready to come back to the ship.
How do they know we're done?
Well, I hadn't thought that far ahead.
I suppose we could launch a flare.
There you go. You could just fire that cannon I gave you into the air. We'll come pick you up.
Why don't you just give us a flare gun or something?
I've already given you a cannon. I don't feel comfortable giving you any more firepower.
That's okay. Like, I assume we are going to be done so quickly and so forcefully that lighting a cannon into the sky is not going to be a problem. Like, we don't need surprise once we are all done. You know what I mean?
I guess Magellan's not on the dinghy with you. Well, I'll say he was. There's room for 4. Magellan was there too. Samuel hands you a flare gun.
Oh, that's perfect. I give it to Demyan because I don't know how to use a gun.
Demyan just cracks it open, checks the flare inside, takes out the flare, checks the barrel, puts the flare back, and closes the breech.
It all looks
Okay.
up to par.
That would work. So when we're done, he'll give you the signal.
Excellent. And with that, you pull up onto the shore, and there's a fruity smell in the air that you guys can detect. And Samuel looks at you and points at his beak, and he goes, "That smell you're smelling, that sweet fruity smell, that's the scent of the dimensional doors opening and closing quickly. If you follow the scent, it knows where to go. Just follow your nose to the bag of tricks."
So my mustache twitch a little bit because I can smell it. It's overpowering, and it's like, that should be no problem. This smell is very strong, but very sweet, like very beautiful. So we will follow our noses, and we will go to the place that is the source. Demyan, do you have anything in that beautiful bag where we can be like very sneaky? I mean, I'm not a very sneaky man, but I want to be very careful.
No, I think all the things I have in this bag are very contradictory to stealth. I mean,
That's
I have
okay.
a big cannon inside. It's not really stealthy. I have a smaller cannon, like a potato launcher, like some inbred son of a vacuum cleaner, leaf blower, and the meat grinder turned into a potato
that is-
launcher. But
that
it's
sound like
not
the
exactly
noisiest-
sneaky.
That sounds like the noisiest thing I ever hear in my life. So we'll just scratch that for a sneaky approach. And we'll just walk and maybe take in the sights and the sounds. Like we are taking in the smell, but maybe there's like a beautiful bird or some foliage or some flora that we can appreciate while we are going through to follow this interdimensional opening and closing.
No, I mean, I could make you a ghillie suit out of this flora, but it would take a lot of time, so I think we'd better get going.
Well, you can pick some flowers or whatever, some grass, some cattails or whatever you think would make a good food. Put it in your bag. You could do it later.
Demyan just shrugs, takes some twigs, some leaves, something, some branches, and straps to Armando with some duct tape. Now you look like a bush.
And I think that is a good place for us to take our break. You guys have made it to the island. So we have been joined by Armando
Yes, I'm very happy to follow my nose.
and Demyan.
The smell is so sweet it's killing me.
All right. And if you do like this episode, please do subscribe, and leave us a comment. You'll probably hear us read it on air. It really does help the podcast grow. All right. So we will see you guys back here in just a minute.
Bye, everybody.
See you.
Today's mid-episode shout-out is, quote, "Heartfelt thanks to my longtime neighbor, Fatima, for your kindness and a sense of community that makes our neighborhood a better place." End quote. Thank you for supporting us by purchasing a shout-out. Everyone, you can arrange for us to read your shout-out at firebreathingkittenspodcast.com. Did you know we also sell paperbacks and hardcovers and ebooks and audiobooks on Amazon and Audible that are based on our adventures? You can also support us simply by telling someone you know about Fire Breathing Kittens, maybe suggest an episode that you think would make them smile. Thanks.
All right. So who wants to give us a real quick recap of what brought us up to now?
I could volunteer to tell what happened. I may not remember all the details perfectly, but perhaps you can fill them in after the fact if that's okay.
That works just
So-
fine.
Here is how it started, okay? I am seeking to expand my horizons socially, and I'm in the Fire Breathing Kitten Guild Hall, and I think the best way to do this is to get a job off the job flyer, the job board. Nobody seemed immediately interested until I go to the back and find Demyan. I introduce myself, he introduced himself. We talk about this, the job, and it's about fixing some interdimensional doors or something like that. I don't know anything about that. Demyan seems to have a grasp of, at least academically, what is going on. So we push the sigil on the job flyer. We are immediately transported to a blank room that is all white, and then doors come flying in. Like, if you remember that scene in The Matrix when Neo is asking for guns and they come rushing in, it's like just like that, except all different doors. And then one door in particular opens up, and inside the door is a glass dome room, and there is a desk, and then we see this beautiful like tiger person. It turns out her name is Antonia, and Antonia says, "Oh, I'm so glad the keepers of the interdimensional door system. We need your help. We lost a bag of tools that we need to repair the doors. Please find the tools. Last time it was in your universe, and our agent there is disappeared. So, number one, find the agent. He leads you to where the tools are. We say, no problem. We are heroes. And then...
Quick correct. It's a bag of tricks, not a bag of tools.
Sorry, bag of tricks. I keep thinking it's a bag of tools, and I probably said that in the first part of the episode. So, hey, redact that, listener. It is a bag of tricks. Anyway, they cannot replace it. They cannot make a new one. So they have to use this old one. That's the only one in existence. So we go back into the to our world. We go to the docks. We overhear somebody talking about the man we're trying to find, Horatio Mayelen. He is the captain. And they say, hey, this guy's grain is no good. It keeps cutting me. And they say, hey, let's find out where this guy is. They point us to the ship. He is in the guppy. We go to the guppy. We find a birdman who is like his second in command. Sam is his name. And he says, look, I think he's in a warehouse. He's supposed to meet some shady characters. He don't come back. We go to the warehouse. There were indeed shady characters. But Demyan is like an expert in picking locks. And he picked the lock. We go inside. And then all of a sudden, we're about to get attacked. But then I introduce myself. And I got a kind of a reputation as a mercenary or fighter. And so they say, whoa, we don't want no trouble. And I say, I don't want any trouble. I just want this guy. And they say, yeah, take the guy, but tell him that his grain is no good. And Demyan released the man. The captain is like, you gotta soak the grain in the milk. That is, otherwise they cut your mouth. And that is a lesson you gotta learn yourself. Anyway, we escort him out. He gives me a little box of his grain. It's awesome. We explain the situation. He knows we're working with Antonia. He says, aha, it's on this island. We need to go to the island. That's the last place it is. He's willing to sail us there. So we go to the ship. I find a spinny chair on the ship. I keep spinning and laughing my head off. Then he find a cannon that he wants to put in his magic bag. Did I mention he has a bag that is like an infinity bag? He put it in there, anything fit in there. Also, there are 5 to-go ales in there. 5 to-go ales. We give one to Captain Mayelen. And then what else? He puts a cannon in there, cannonball, gunpowder. He's ready to fire it. We get close to the island, and the island is like freaking out. Part of it is changing constantly, and it is apparently there is a smell associated with the interdimensional doors opening and closing all the time, and it smells like very sweet. And so when we take the dinghy onto the shore, they say, you need to follow your nose. And I say, no problem, our noses are working just fine. And Demyan is given a flare gun, so when we are done, he can shoot it in the air and get a rescue. But we are about to follow the scent and go to the place where the problem is. And I don't mean to spoil the ending, listener, but we are going to like totally kick butt and finish what we need to finish. But, tune in, listen to the end to find out how we do this, So that is the summary.
All right. So you guys are standing on the beach. I think you hit all the high points. You guys are standing on the beach. You can smell the fruity, sweet smell. It is leading you into the... is Nicomoy a tropical location? What's the weather like in Nicomoy normally?
I say it's more temperate.
Okay, so this would be a forest, not a jungle.
Correct. Well, yeah, it depends.
It's wooded.
We sail for like a day, so it could be anything.
It could be anything because the place is changing every second.
There we go.
Some astral rifts, temporal planes, so on, so on.
All right, so you guys head into what is currently a jungle. And up ahead, you hear... It sounds like a deep, thrumming, buzzing sound.
I turn to Demyan and say, hey, you hear that deep, thrumming, buzzing sound?
Do you think I should pull out a big cannon or a small cannon?
Let's start with the potato gun and see if you need to upgrade after that. Because a potato can scare away most people, I think.
Okay, Demyan presses a button, you can hear electric motor starting to spin, and the next moment a barrel is sticking out of the mouth of the bag. It looks like some kind of leaf blower meets meat grinder, and Demyan picks up a rock from the floor and puts it in the opening in the cannon and closes the barrel. Okay, locked and loaded.
Mechanically, what I'm going to ask you to do is for the upcoming scene, since you have done something that would require a proficiency, which is you have a potato cannon now, go ahead and draw your 8 cards and discard one of them as your proficiency. And Armando, if you want to go ahead and just draw your 8 cards as well.
I'm afraid I cannot draw any cards at the moment.
Try again.
Okay, I have my 8 cards.
Let me get my...
Now,
So
EM
I
and
just,
listener... go ahead. Sorry, Demyan.
So I take a card, any card, and discard it as my proficiency. Okay, there you go, discarded.
All right. So you now have your big potato gun ready. There's a thrumming, buzzing sound ahead. What do you want to do?
Well, it's not exactly a potato per se, it's more like you put something in one barrel, it flies from the other end of the barrel. But let's call it potato gun for simplicity use. Let's just, don't know, shoot something like a rock blind in the direction of that buzzing sound.
Okay. That buzzing sound is going to get a lot louder now because you've started a fight.
I would like to say, as we are traveling into the jungle, I have my hand on the hilt of my sword, the Hope Bringer.
Okay, so go ahead and discard one of your cards for having a sword.
So let me see if this is okay. I think I only draw 7 cards, but the 8th card that I would have drawn is a wild, and it is currently face down in front of me. Is that okay?
I think to get a wild card, you have to discard a second card if I'm reading that properly.
That is okay. I will do that.
That's my interpretation of the rules. Do you agree? If not, I mean, this is my first time playing too. So if you interpret it differently, my reading comprehension skills are not 100% by any means.
Okay, a player may have access to their wild card if they face down separate from their hand, but proficiency make you better.
Because I'm reading you get a wild card for a specialization, which is you have to discard a second card to get a specialization.
I think you're right. So I will discard an additional card, and that is okay.
Okay.
Okay. So now I am ready.
Okay. Out of the jungle comes a humongous swarm of bees. And they're working almost as one unit, almost as if there's a central intelligence, kind of a hive mind, if you will, at work. And they lock onto Demyan and see he's holding a smoking projectile launcher, let's call it.
Not exactly smoking, it's pneumatic.
Pneumatic. But they are going to come for you, Demyan. And you know, here's how they're going to shoot a couple of bees out of the turret at you. So pull up your best, what you want to defend with.
I guess I just hit the dirt.
Okay, then that is going to be a physical check versus their attack. So you're going to use spades and diamonds against my clubs and spades.
That's an instant hit, I suppose. I have just 1 diamond.
Well, hopefully it's a high diamond.
Not really. Diamonds and what you said?
Diamonds and spades.
And spades. Christ. This tool is so janky.
Okay.
Okay, this is it.
All right, so yours comes to a 15. Mine comes to a 20. So you lose 1 card. And that's how damage is done in this system.
So I lose 1 card from my hand.
Yep, you have
which
to
I
discard.
haven't played yet.
You take back the 2 cards you played and you discard 1 card out of your hand now.
Okay. A quick question before I decide what I discard. What do I use for ranged attacks?
Ranged is going to be clubs and spades.
Okay. Well, it goes into discard. So I discarded.
All right, Armando, it's your turn.
So when I was a student as a sword fighter, my teacher Emil, as a hobby, was a beekeeper. Okay? He was a man of many talents, sword fighting primary among them. However, I pick up a few tips. This is all racing through my mind as I see these big swarm of bees. And he say, bees, more than anything, are scared of a smoke. They do not like fire. So I look around the environment and I identify a couple of flint rocks and some debris that is dry up because, you know, even though it is a jungly, very humid, there is still some dried out bark, leaves, things like that, dead things. So I grab the flint rocks and I started striking them as fast as I can on a pile of very semi-green, like it's not totally, dried out. So it's a little harder to light, but it will be much smokier. And so I light. And then my cards will determine whether I light them successfully and get them to go away.
I'm going to make this a knowledge check. So that is spades and diamonds. I feel like this should be a challenge rating of 20. Would you argue a 15?
No, it's okay. This is number one. All this is racing through my mind, and I have to identify I have to see and identify flint rocks. See and identify things that are mostly dry but not all the way dry. So there's a lot happening in a little bit of time. So 20 is probably okay. I understand. That's okay.
Okay, then I just didn't want to make it too hard for you guys, but yeah, I'm feeling a 20 on this one.
And it's easy for me to say because I can see my cards, and it's like, hey, 20, no problem, I got this. And so I'm gonna go ahead and draw this card right here. Pala! It is a joker, and this joker is like an automatic win. And so the way it is visualized is you see me tumble towards one flint rock, and then tumble to another flint rock, and I'm like striking as I tumble toward some death stuff, and I'm letting these sparks get on them, and then blowing on it, whoo, 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 like this. And then you see kaloosh, you see the flames come up, and the smoke is starting to build. And I call Demyan, I say, come over to the safety of the smoke.
Okay, so with a joker, I'm gonna say that you're making smoke that the bees, because they're not actually afraid of the smoke. It chills them out. It calms them down, is what smoking out bees does. And I'll say, you're actually lighting these whatever you're lighting, the bees really just sort of mellow out after that. They're not. You killed a couple of them, but hey, they're a hive mind. That's not the worst thing that's ever happened. They'll hatch some new bees, man. Peace, love, and rock and roll, man.
So, Yim, am I inhaling a little of this smoke too? Because I think there may be consequences for this chill out smoke, if you want to call it.
Well, that's up to you. Are you purposely like turning your head and really trying not to get it, or are you focused on getting that smoke towards the bees?
Well, I'm trying to stay close to the smoke, so I'm probably getting at least a contact high, if you will.
Can I just say the last game I played, there were shrooms involved. This game, there's mellowing herbs involved.
Maybe it is a theme of your the way you play. It's
Maybe.
a style.
Maybe.
So I am getting a little woozy because I don't usually subject myself to such things that would alter me, you would say. So I'm very woozy, but I feel safer knowing that the bees are at bay.
And they fly off to they fly back to their hive, stopping on flowers to grab a little pollen and nectar on their way back. And they fly off, and you still hear the thrumming buzz, but it's a much more content, low buzz.
Demyan, did you join me in the smoke?
Well, I suppose I crawl to you.
So you may be affected as well. I don't know.
I hit the dirt, so I'm below the smoke.
That is a lot smarter than what I did.
So, I'd say we burn those bees. And I have an idea how to do it.
Right now, they're leaving you alone. If you re-engage, they're going to
they're
fight
leaving.
back again.
Let's just save it for later then. I mean, I was planning on using one of the liquor bottles as an improvised Molotov cocktail. Plug some clothes inside, burn it, and launch it from my potato launcher in the direction of bees. But since they are withdrawing, we might disengage too.
That is a pretty good plan, but keep that in your back pocket, like literally and metaphorically, because we may be using that a little bit later.
Yes, I have it ready.
I would say that ends the scene, so I went ahead and shuffled the cards. Go ahead and draw your cards back up to... if you're keeping the potato gun out, draw 8, discard 1. And if you want to do the same for your sword, Armando.
Perfect. Yes, I have redrawn, and I have discarded the card for my sword.
So as you guys are continuing to follow this scent, you come across there is, I hesitate to call it a door because hanging in the air is an animal pelt that's kind of been pulled to the side. and standing in front of it are two Cro-Magnon-looking people. One's taller than the other. They're both wearing animal skins. The shorter one's wearing some sort of like brown shaggy creature's skin. The other one's wearing like a panther skin, like a beautiful orange spotted thing. And in front of him, he has like this collection of really pretty colorful rocks. And the shorter one keeps trying to reach over and like steal some of those rocks from him, and the big one gets real mad and punches him. And these are really big guys. Like I'm talking like 8 to 12 feet tall, and they're blocking your path. Well, the shorter one's more like 8 feet, and the bigger one's 12 feet. But that is what you see when you are continuing to follow the scent here.
So may I ask a question about the rocks? You say they are very multicolor. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Very good.
Like not each one is multicolored. Like there's a bunch of colorful rocks.
Correct. Like a blue one, a yellow one, something like that. Okay. Do they see us?
They seem to be very absorbed in the big one protecting his little rocks, and the little one trying to sneak a couple from him. Like the second the big one turns his back to start playing with them or counting or whatever he's going to do with them, the little one tries to sneak over and grab it, and the big one has to chase him off.
Demyan, these guys are very big, and I'm not scared of them. I just want that to be very clear. But I think strategically, we should probably go around them and avoid them, and maybe we can use them to our advantage later.
Or we could swap to my bigger cannon.
I think they are so preoccupied with the colorful stones that is their focus. So if we could like scatter their stones, they will be like spending all their time trying to recollect them or something. So you could use your big cannon and fire into the middle of their stones and like ploof, make them go everywhere. If you want, I mean, or you could do something else. We are brainstorming.
I think a big puff of smoke would give away our position, so they'd first go and kick us, and then pick the stones.
You guys did just do a big puff of smoke right back there.
The gun was pneumatic, it didn't do much smoke. You mean the rocks.
I think he's talking about the smoke that I put into the air that is making everybody chill out, you know? So I don't know if I could bring some of that chill smoke to these guys, help them to chill out. But, no, I think it would be better if we put, we got the 4 to-go ales in the bag. So we pull out 2 of them for them. And I think we pull out the other 2 for us. But we don't need to drink it, but we like pretend, like we're holding them like we're at a party. And then we walk up and say, "Hey, amigo!" And then we slap them on the back. If we can reach the back, the one guy is very tall. We say, "Hey, join us." And then we raise our glass like, "Hey," and then we pretend to drink like this is what you are supposed to do. Hopefully, we can convince them to drink the to-go ale that we got earlier. I will go ahead and ask Demyan, please give me the 4 ale, and we can execute this plan.
Do you think we could prepare them a little bit beforehand, like throw that smoky and chill rock at them?
I don't know.
So they inhale and get chill.
Do you have like a container to hold a fire that is burning? The
rock is already giving out smoke, and I can launch it with my potato launcher.
Oh, it's not a rock that's giving off smoke. He collected herbs and lit them on fire.
Herbs.
Now, I mean, you could roll them in something, or, you know, if you have a glass container of some kind.
Yes, if only we had an empty bottle.
That is something I do not have. But
okay, let's go with your plan.
I have an idea. I have an idea. I go back to the smoke and I strip naked. I take off all of my clothes, but I keep my swords on because, you know, I want to be prepared. And I put my clothes over the smoke to make them very rich with the smoke smell. And so they're just like it's full of the smoke. And then I take a big I like inhale to hold my breath and I put the clothes back on. And luckily, I am a champion swimmer, so I can hold my breath for a very long time. So anyway, I run with my smelly clothes and then I go to the smaller one, I assume, and I give him a big hug. But in a hug that is not aggressive, like, how you can hug somebody and you know that, like, this is a gentle hug, I can tell. It's like one of those. But what I really am trying to do is I'm trying to get him to smell my clothes. And so automatically he like starts to chill out. And then when the big one is like, what's going on here with this guy hugging this small man? He smell my clothes too, because he's very close. And so the goal, if you will, is for both of them to chill out,
Okay. I'm going to need you to to draw. I'm going to make that a bluff because this is. If you have another Joker, I'm going to be. This has got to be a 20. This is a gamble if there ever was one.
So, like, is this a physical or mental?
It's a bluff, so we're gonna go with spades and hearts.
Physical skill check. I hate to disappoint you or surprise you, but I'm gonna throw this Joker around. This is the result of you shuffling, and I understand the limitations of the tool that we're using, that you have to shuffle every time. But this is another Joker, and it seems like Armando can do no wrong in his past few moves. So, boom. What happens is I am full of this chill out smoke. That's what I'm going to call it. And I'm hugging the small man, and they're both taking big whiff off of my clothes. And the consequence, of course, is I cannot hold my breath forever. So I will be smelling this smoke later. So maybe there could be a consequence. But
they take a deep whiff, and then another one. And they pass you to the left. And then they sit down and start eating these rocks.
I did not expect that at all.
And they are best friends. And as you look closely, they seem to be rock-like, but almost just chunks of sugar and maybe flour put together in rock shapes. And they're just sitting there and enjoying themselves immensely.
That's excellent.
Your pathway is now clear.
I will go ahead and discard that Joker. Demyan, I would advise you to probably not stand too close to me. Nothing personal. I just do not want you to be mal affected by this chill out smoke. Unless you are on edge, then maybe you stand close to me. That's okay.
I will say the next time we draw, because you are definitely getting a lot of this, you're only going to draw 7 cards.
That's okay. I think that is totally fair.
And the longer you in it, the next time you draw, it's going to be 6. And that's where I'm going to leave it. But you get one where you're just sort of, you're riding that coaster. You haven't hit the top yet.
That's fair.
But you are very hungry and you don't know why. But so you guys, you make it up the path, and at the path is this huge stone castle a la Dr. Frankenstein. You have approached it in a way that you're seeing it from the side, and from where you're standing, obviously there's a drawbridge that is down to the front. And there's walls all around, but they're sort of crumbling. This has not been super well taken care of. How would you like to proceed?
I'm very distracted by how hungry I am, so I am looking for Demyan to lead the way as far as how we approach. Hopefully he can find a kitchen, because I can cook my own food. I am a capable human being, but I am very hungry.
So, do we see the gateway entrance to the castle?
Yes.
Anything blocking our way there?
Not that you can see from where you're standing.
So Demyan just walks up to the door and knocks. Professor Spark! Hello? You there?
You stand there banging on the door for a little bit, and there's no answer. From the top of the tower, you can see a little bit of, lights and stuff flashing from the tallest tower.
How high is this?
It is a couple 100 feet up and back. You have to go through the
Okay.
castle to get to it, unless you can fly.
Okay, let's try and open that door.
Okay, we're gonna need a lock pick, which is spades and diamonds, and it's a challenge rating of 10. It's not a super great lock.
Diamonds and spades. And a challenge of 10. God, the one who mixed that stuff was... Okay, plan B. What if we just blow the doors open?
Like with your big cannon?
Like with my big cannon. Yes.
That is the perfect use for a cannon.
You're gonna have to discard 2. I'm gonna call that a specialization, because it's 1 for the potato gun, and then 2 to turn it into the cannon. Does that make sense?
Okay, and what will I have to use then to blow a big hole?
We're gonna call that offensive magic, which is gonna be diamonds and clubs. But you also do get your wild card.
Would that not be
Okay.
like more of an attack with a ranged weapon? Because
Yes.
We said at the
because-
beginning that I was going to treat his artificing as if it were magic.
that's right, okay. But
The funniest thing that I decided to resort to plan B because I have just 2 cards of diamonds and spades, which are these 2.
But you also got a wild card, which is going to be this
Yes.
one. So you made it with a 16.
That's
and you
pretty
do
good.
have to discard 1 card for using magic.
Let's go into discard.
Now, inside of this hall that you have just blown open, there is a ghost. And he is not happy that you guys are here, and he is going to attack. Ooh, you are not going to like him very much.
I am ready because number one, that was impolite that he did not answer the knock. Demyan was very polite. He knocked on the door and he's asking, "Hey, please, we're looking for Professor Spark." Nobody answered the door, so he knocked just a little bit louder and knocked the door down. And so, to me, this ghost is the rude one, and so I'm ready. I take my sword out.
Okay. I will say you can go before the ghost does. So you can attack the ghost and then he'll fight you back.
So I'm going to use a melee weapon. I'm going to use my Hope Bringer, and that is either clubs and hearth. And so let's see what I have. Clubs, hearth. I'm going to throw down this heart right here, a jack of hearth, and then clubs. A 10 of clubs, so that is a 20. And I go, "Hoisha!" like that. Of course, when I withdraw, I don't know if you know this, but when I withdraw my sword, there is a sound of a flamenco guitar. So he's already intimidated.
I guess that would be against his physical attack. Remember when I said you weren't going to like me?
That's correct, I remember.
That's a
That is a
21.
21. That is a natural 21.
Mm-hmm. Which means your attack does not succeed.
But it looked spectacular.
It
like
did.
It may not have been
I
as
am-
successful, but
I am impressed.
I still have a style, I think.
Yes. Since you attacked him, he's going to attack you back with that same 21. So you discard 1 card.
That's fine.
All right, Demyan, it's your turn.
Before Demyan go, I want to be clear. Since I was fighting with melee attack, I am right up on that ghost.
Yes.
And if that ghost can smell anything, he is smelling my clothes. And so I don't know if that's going to make him chill out also, but consider it.
I like it. I will discard 1 card for that.
I wonder if I can use my blowgun on reverse to suck the ghost inside an empty bottle. Like empty 1 bottle and suck it inside.
I will call that offensive magic. So go ahead and what is offensive magic? Diamonds and clubs.
This is going to be so bad. Do I get another wild card?
You used your wild card to do it. You would have to
Yes.
discard another card to get a wild card, I think.
Okay, discarding another one. Not that one. Give me that one. That one got discarding. Clubs. Oh, separates. Diamonds. Here you go.
Okay, and then you're gonna want to flip over your wild card because his defensive magic, he can only defend with hearts and diamonds, and he has a king of hearts, so a 10 against a 16. You win. You have sucked him into this bottle.
So I put the cork back on, look at the bottle, shake it a bit, and put it in my bag.
Okay, you have a contained angry spirit.
Now that goes into my collection.
Yes. That can be used at a later date. So what would you like to do from there?
I guess we should navigate our way to the tower which we saw before.
Okay, we are going to shuffle so we get new hands now that that scene is over. As you guys are working your way through the area, trying to follow the scent of the fruit, there's a big, how castles sometimes, like in the center, there's a big green open area. There's a big green open area here, and it looks from where you're standing like there is a rainbow emanating from the center of this clearing.
I don't think it's supposed to work like that. We'd better get this bag of whatever we're looking for really quick.
So
So,
I'm feeling very confident, like unnaturally confident. Like I'm normally very confident, but like ever since the chill out smoke, I'm unstoppable. Even though the ghost kicked my butt a little bit, but now that the ghost is out of the way, I go straight for the rainbow because I hear there's sometimes they pot of gold or something like that. So I confidently walk over there with my sword. Is sheathed already, but my hand is on the handle, the hilt. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Remember, you only draw 7 this time. Or 6, excuse me, you draw 6 this time.
Oof. Okay.
So you are approaching the center of this clearing, and oddly enough, there is a pot of gold there. And there's also a little man dressed in green.
I say to the man in green, I say, hello, my name is Armando Contenza Villano de Medici. It is customary in my culture to hug people when I am introducing myself. So I hug him, if he allowed me to, of course. And because I'm discovering that this smell of my clothes is very effective at making people to relax.
You go in for a hug, and he magically disappears out of your reach and appears sitting on your shoulder and goes, "Nice try, Sonny. You're after me Lucky Charms. I know you're not getting them."
No, please do not understand. Number one, that trick was amazing. You have to do that again sometime. I'm so glad you are on my shoulder. Just let's take a breath, okay? Let's relax. I do not want your Lucky Charms. I am after a bag of tricks. Apparently, a lupine person is... No, that is not the correct term. That is more of a wolf. A
Look,
rabbit
fella.
person.
Look, fella, we have no quarrel with you, and we don't need no magic tricks, whatever you say, whatever lucky charms. We need the bag. Can you show us the way up there? Demyan points at the tower where this fire show is still going on.
Well, I just got here. I haven't really seen very much, but I assume it's that way. And he points behind him, and there's a staircase kind of winding its way up.
Stairs. I hate the stairs, not the stairs.
I say,
Are you sure it's the way?
No, I just said I just got here, but I'm pretty sure it's that way.
well, we just got here too. Like, we are visitors to this place. I've never been here before. Have you been here before? What do you recommend? Is there like a good restaurant scene or like a bar or something like that we can check out?
I don't know. I've been looking for a pub, but I just got here. I was sitting in my hole with my pot of gold here, and suddenly I was transported to the middle of this awful looking place.
So you are also the victim of being transported. Do you happen to have seen any weird-looking doors before?
Aye, I saw a weird looking door. I thought it looked kind of strange. I went through it. Now I'm here.
Look, fella, we're on the same side. Help us get this bag of tricks, and we'll help you get back to your pot of gold.
Well, I've already got my pot of gold. It's sitting right here. I just want to go home.
Okay, you'll help you go home.
All right. Well, you get me home, and I'll owe you one.
So, let's just get to the tower. the more we're meddling here, the more unstable ruptures to reality open, and we don't want the reality to be even more altered than it already is.
Okay, so you guys walk past his big pot of gold and up the stairs.
We give
Yes,
him
I
a
tell-
promise we are not touching his gold, so we go
Yes.
past and go up.
I tell him, we will be right back. Once this is all taken care of, we have a pathway back to the journey to the door to send you home. So don't worry about it. You just chill out with your goal. You know, you got to protect what is yours. And then we will return and everything will be just fine.
Okay. As you go up the stairs?
Yes.
All right, the smell of fruit is getting stronger as you go up the stairs. And when you get to the top, there's a clearing, or not a clearing, excuse me. It's a big open space that's clearly a laboratory. There's machinery and lab equipment scattered around. On a slab is a big, freakishly large human. Kind of. It looks like he's been cobbled together from different parts. But it looks like it was oddly the same guy, just kind of stretched out. And on the foot, the toe tag, you see Barry.
Another one of Professor Sparks' columns. Right. She loves them. Hey, big guy! You hear me?
It doesn't move.
Do you know where Professor Spark might be?
With that, you hear sort of a cackling laughter from behind one of the machines, and out steps Professor Spark. And she says, Demyan, I didn't expect to see you again so soon.
I didn't expect either. Professor, do you happen to come by around some magic bag of tricks that open ruptures in our reality?
Well, yes, in fact, my current client has hired me to understand the science behind this interdimensional travel. We've been running some experiments.
As much as I really wish to indulge in your experiments, I'm being driven with the same passion for knowledge. I'd like to have this bag returned to its owner.
Oh,
Please?
Unfortunately, I can't allow that. I've already been paid, and, there is science to be done, and I'd hate to turn a friend into an enemy, so I ask that you please leave now.
Demyan
No.
pulls out his big cannon in one hand, his bottle with the ghost in another hand. Alright, drop the bottle! Alright, drop the bag! Right now! I'm a stupid! I shouldn't reserve at Sardam! Give the bag now!
So right after this statement by Demyan, I say, hey, let's focus on what's important. Like, I've been smelling a lot of fruit and I am starving.
Yes,
you have
we're doing
any
the
food?
important stuff. We're getting our bag back. Give
Or any
us
food,
the bag.
like bananas or something like that. You have oranges?
So, are you starting combat, or are you trying to bluff her into giving up?
I'm trying to threaten her to give me the bag.
Okay. That is going to be a pretty high bluff, because you are standing in her lab. I hate to keep throwing 20s at you, but you guys keep asking to do very difficult things, like make one of the big bad guys just give up without a fight.
I am asking
Go
for
on.
food, number one. I don't know if that is a possibility that can be resolved before this fight.
So, you mean this one card?
Jokers.
Give me the bag now or I'll start blasting.
That
Sure,
really
okay.
equips you to do the craziest thing in the world.
Okay, let's be reasonable. I don't have the bag right now. Arlene took it when you guys made it past the ghost. I was supposed to turn Barry on here and maybe get the Count to attack you. But let's just say we skip all that. Arlene is on the top floor. You're welcome. Go on up. I won't tell her you're coming.
So nice of you, Professor. Pleasure doing business with you. Let's go,
Yes.
Armando.
I won't forget this, Demyan.
I'm
I would
not
like to.
forgetting this near.
My eyes. So like I'm getting a little bit paranoid, and so like my eyes are going back and forth, and I'm like, you sure? You sure this is? I don't know what's happening, but I feel very weird, and so I follow Demyan because I trust Demyan, and I'm like, I'm gonna put my hand on my sword hilt because that is the one thing I can trust.
Okay. You guys make it to the top floor. And up there is if you all listened last season, Aunt Arlene is one of the Barrett clan. She's not a very nice woman. She's manipulative and kind of mean. And she stands there holding a shining bag. And she looks at you and goes, "Y'all shouldn't have made it this far. Why didn't the professor stop you? I didn't even hear a scuffle downstairs."
Demyan hugs his cannon in his hands. Hugs and just slightly gives it a pet like it's a kitten in his hand. Well, Professor was a reasonable woman.
"Well, I assure you I am not nearly as reasonable as she is." And with that, she is going to open the bag of tricks and open a door to another dimension. And she is going to aim it at you, Demyan. So go ahead and we're going to count this. She's using magic. So she will use offensive magic and you will use defensive magic.
So while this is happening, I want to say, like before she used the offensive magic on Demyan, I'm going to remove my shirt and my vest, okay? Because that is really getting to my face. And I realized that this was a mistake to soak my clothes with this smoke. So I remove my shirt, I remove my vest, and then I throw them in the direction of Aunt Arlie. So my goal is she is going to chill out and I will be a little bit more coherent.
Okay.
And she is already distracted with trying to do some stuff with Demyan, you know what I'm saying? So she may not even notice that I'm stripping, but like I still have my pants on. Don't jump to conclusion, okay?
Now let me ask you this as players. How mean do you want me to be as a DM?
As mean as you want to be. This is a fun game for me.
The reason
okay.
I ask is she is opening her bag of tricks, and I have a joker.
I knew you'd say that.
So, if I was a player with an unbeatable card, Demyan, you are transported to an alternate dimension.
Oh, right.
I will say it is not the fire dimension because I don't want to kill your character. In fact, I will say you are standing in the hallway with the infinite doors. You've been teleported.
He has the job flyer with the sigil, so even if he was in a different dimension,
he can't hear
could
you
get
talking.
Back. Oh,
He's in another
Yes,
dimension.
also,
You can't give him advice like that.
You're right.
I
I'm
also
sorry.
wanted to use this as my solid plan B option, just to get back to our job giver and ask her a direction to the door, but since I'm already at this door dimension.
Well, you are in the door dimension, and that is her turn, and your turn will take place there. Armando, what do you want to do?
So number one, I'm going to freak out a little bit because I just see my friend disappear right before my eyes. I'm like, hey, what happened to Demyan? He's a good guy. He had like ales in his bag and everything. And so I'm looking at this rabbit, and all of a sudden, there is a fire inside of me that is growing, okay? And I just meet Demyan, but everything that happened since I meet him, he's a good guy. And I'm like, not only is he my guildmate, but he is my friend. And so I can feel this burning desire to defeat this lady, and I will not rest until that happens. And so after I have thrown my shirt and my vest at her, like that has already happened. While Demyan is transported, the vest and the shirt are over there, and hopefully it is covering her face. And so she does not see the sword that is being unsheathed. She may hear the flamenco
The
guitar.
first thing I'm going to ask you to do then, since you're actually trying to accomplish something by throwing the shirt, is I'm going to say that's a ranged attack.
That's fine. So club and spade.
Clubs and spades. And I'll say it's a challenge rating of 15.
Okay. Club. I got to. Oh, that is a club and spade. Okay, yes, that's right.
Okay. So you can successfully throw that over her face. I will say at this point the smell has dissipated enough that she's not going to get the contact high. But because you did that before your attack, I will give you... She will subtract 1 from her defense throwing up. That's not in the rules, but I feel like you should get a reward for that.
Yeah, she is effectively blinded. I mean, I know it is temporary, but she does not see that I am about to attack. And I pounce. I'm going to pounce on her.
All right, so go ahead and do that.
Okay, so a melee attack is club and heart.
Melee attack is... Yep, clubs and hearts.
So club... I'm going to do these 2 club right here. You know what? And I'm going to use my wild card because I don't want to take any chances with the lady.
Okay.
And I use the word lady like very liberally. Oh, it's a 3 wild. Okay. So it's a total of 22.
Okay. I got a 21, but because I
you
said...
win.
Well, no, because I said she got 1 subtracted.
Oh, that's right.
So you do successfully hit her.
And so... Oh, I guess I discard the wild card. I would like to flavor the attack such that when I attack her with my sword, I whip her with it and she tumbles. I don't know if she loses the bag, but she kind of tumbles around.
Sure, I'll say you stumbled her a little bit.
Okay. Is the bag still in her grasp?
Yes, you didn't draw well enough. You didn't hit me with a joker or a 21. She still got it in her hands.
Okay. So I will start talking to her because I feel it is fair. Like I may have been a little bit slimy with the throwing of the shirt. That is not...
Well, let's see what Demyan is going to do in the alternate dimension. We'll come back to this scene in a second. Demyan, you are standing in a hallway with lots and lots of doors. What are you going to do?
Well, I don't want to cause any more interdimensional havoc, so I just take the flyer and scratch the sigil a little bit. Hey, Tiger Lady, can you hear me? Please?
When you touch the sigil, it flickers a little bit like it doesn't know what to do. It normally doesn't get called in the interdimensional space. And some doors kind of like... Have you ever seen an elevator door that closes and opens because something is in the way and it like stutters? And that's kind of what's happening with the doors. Is they're trying to speed past and stop at the same time. And then finally they fly past and ding! And those doors slide open and Antonia's sitting at her desk. And she goes, I smell my bag of tricks.
Well, I have bad news and good news. What news do you want first?
Well, I assume the bad news is you don't have the bag of tricks because you're here without it.
And the good news, I know where your bag is. I just need the way back.
Okay, well, were you familiar with any of the doors around where you were?
They all look the same. I know it's a door that must lead to some castle of Professor Spark. Probably it should look like a castle door.
Well, I can get you there, but it's gonna hurt.
Okay, Demyan pops one of the bottle. I hate to do this, but drinks it up, puts the bottle back in the bag, empty bottle.
All right.
Do your worst.
And she stands up. She goes, this is not gonna feel great. So she grabs you by the head and you feel a surge of power and a falling sensation. And I'm going to need you to discard 2 cards. And you are back in the battle now.
Unlimited power!
But I will also give you an action in this round. What do you want to do?
I start blasting. What cards do I use for blasting?
Are you using your magical blaster?
Yes, I'm using the cannon. The big cannon.
If you're going to use the cannon, you're going to have to discard a card for using magic. If you want to use your potato launcher, it would be a melee attack.
Melee, not ranged.
Ranged attack, excuse me. But if you use the cannon, it's magic. Are you going to use ranged attack, or are you going to use offensive magic?
I'd go with the ranged this time. I probably don't want to kill this woman outright, so I plop a stone.
Clubs and spades.
Clubs and spades. Is this clubs?
Yes. So you got a 20, and she will, I guess, defend range, which is clubs and spades. 21. So you don't hit her.
She isn't distracted by that.
Nope. That already. You got that for one round.
Do I keep these 2 cards?
Yes, you do. You keep those cards.
If only it allows me to put them back in my hand. The system is so bugged.
Yeah, it's not the best system in the world. She is going to... Let's see. What is she going to do? She doesn't want to discard another card for using magic. So she is going to... Actually, she realizes she is surrounded by 2 people who might very well overpower her, and she's going to try to make a break for it. I will say she's going to try to run away, which is going to be a physical skill chest, so spades and... Oh, actually, she can't do that because I don't have... Well, yeah, well, okay. She is going to try to run away using spades and hearts. What do you guys want to do?
So we are on a roof, correct?
Correct.
So the only way off the roof is to jump off the side. We're on the tallest tower, so that is out of the question. So the only way out is the door that we come through. So I'm going to guard the door. That is her only avenue of escape. That is reasonable. I mean, she may do something crazy. I don't know. But I'm going to move to the door to cut off her escape.
Okay, Demyan, what are you going to do?
I just send another rock flying her way.
Okay, she is distracted, so she is going to discard a card. But she does make it away. What she's going to do is she's going to try to jump off the tower. And use the bag of tricks to open a dimension under her, which works a little bit. Gravity is affected, and she is down to 1 card at the bottom of the ravine, or at the bottom of the castle wall. You guys are standing above her. You see she has hit the ground softer than she normally would, but she's not dead. What do you want to do?
I shoot another rock at her head, all the way from upstairs.
Okay. She, with that, go ahead and play your 2 cards then. Or your, okay, a 20.
Well, since it's a range attack, it's 20.
It beats her 10. I will say with the distance, you didn't kill her, but you knock her out.
That was the point.
All right, she is unconscious on the ground, holding the bag of tricks.
I would like to run down the stairs as fast as I can to try to intercept her. And I didn't necessarily see Demyan shoot, but I have no ranged weapon, so that is my only alternative. But by the time I get to the bottom, I see that she is out like a light.
Okay. She is out like a light, and that bag is just shining in her hands.
So I will literally wag my finger at her like, you shouldn't have done that, like this. And then I scoop up the shiny bag, and then I make my way back up the stairs, and then I'm huffing and puffing a little bit. I say, I should have invited Demyan down these stairs. That would have been a lot easier. But I shrug, and I keep going up, and I meet him on the roof and say, I have the bag. Good shooting.
You probably meet me halfway down the stairs.
Oh, that's better. And you want to touch the sigil on your,
Yeah, let's just wrap it up and give the bag to the tiger lady.
Wait a minute. Before we do that, let's go talk to the man with the pot of gold and we take him with us. Because we promised, right? We promised that he could come with us.
Yes. Yes, we should.
He is very excited that you will take him home with you. Not with you home, but you will take him home. So you are teleported back, and oddly, Aunt Arlie is teleported back with you guys. And Antonia, whose last name is Latigre, is very excited, and she takes the bag of tricks and looks at Aunt Arlie and goes, "Silly rabbit, tricks are for kids." And that concludes our adventure. So today we were joined by Armando.
I'm so happy that everything worked out the way it's supposed to for the fire-breathing kitten.
And Demyan.
I hate portals!
Good night, everyone. Thank you for playing.
Thank you, listener.
Bye.
It's that part of the show where we tell you about a podcast you might enjoy. Have you heard of Everyday Conversations on Race for Everyday People? Everyday Conversations on Race for Everyday People is a cross-race conversation on race. They bring people together across race to share experiences, perspectives, and solutions. It's educational, insightful, and often humorous. No issue is too personal. People get real about their lives. Their mission is to disrupt the way people talk about race, stop hate, eliminate fear of differences, and spread love across the globe. Check out Everyday Conversations on Race for Everyday People, a podcast.